and welcome back to One Shot Counts, the channel where I normally talk about film and TV, although I've still yet to talk about TV on this channel. I am so sorry I've been gone. I had a summer. That's basically, I've got no excuse. I just went off and had a summer because I went to places and things and did places and went to things. That was not said in the right order. Anyway, I am so sorry that I have been gone for so long, neglected the channel, and my curtains just... Hi, Pusscat! This is Dashi. Everyone say hi to Dashi. He's named after Dash from The Incredibles. Not true. Gonna get onto that in a second. He wants to go, so bye! Ow! Well, I am going to talk about the films that I loved, saw, didn't like, saw, of summer 2018. I'm not going to talk about films that I haven't seen and say they're great or say they're bad. I'm only going to talk about films that I have seen, which is a good list, but I haven't seen films like Ocean's 8 or Sorry Not to Bother You, which is really annoying because I wanted to see movies like those, but I just never got around to seeing them. But don't worry, I will hopefully review this year in great detail towards the end of the year with a round off of 2018 in film. But yes, I will be talking about summer 2018. Hopefully I'll say good things. I am going to say some bad. Sorry. Okay, so to start off, we're going to talk about Avengers Infinity War. I have already spoken about this film and two other films already on this channel, so I'm not going to need to talk about how great Infinity War was. It was interesting to watch it again because, I'm not gonna lie, some moments after you watch them for like the third time, they drag a little. Not saying the film isn't bad, the moments where it picks up, such as the action sequences and, just the general merging of characters, it's still fantastic and still is amazing and so funny, and it's exactly what you wanted as a nerd of Marvel. Next came Deadpool 2. Again, I have already reviewed this film on the channel. Deadpool 2 was fun! I've never watched it again, I just watched it once in the cinema. It was enjoyed by people who I thought would enjoy it, and every time I recommend it to someone, I definitely still say, look, did you enjoy the first one? Yes, well, you're going to enjoy this next one. That's how I would recommend it to anyone. If you don't like the first one, I mean, don't even bother. Why? I just did it because I'm a film student. May also saw the return of Star Wars to our screens less than 6 months after The Last Jedi with Solo: A Star Wars Story. Again, I have covered that already on this channel to, I think, great length actually. And I watched it one other time post that review. It was fun to watch it, but my god, the second watch I was already going, what the hell? June also heralded the arrival of the quite slowly but eventually highly anticipated film Hereditary, which everyone has forgotten. When I talk to people about films, literally from the past few months, everyone forgets that Hereditary came out, and even some people still don't even know what it was, but just towards its release, the hype for Hereditary got kind of crazy. It did in the spheres that I live in. I never reviewed Hereditary, so we're going to take this time, and many other times for the rest of the films on this list, to quickly review it. Well shot, well created, well stitched together. It has twists that were not presented in the trailers, and that came as a great shock and surprise when I was watching it. But the ending was strange, and I had to go away and Google it, and even then, when Googling it, someone else had to explain to me the ending, because I was still like, so what does that mean? What? It was a bit of a ghost story situation, like it tried something and it was good, but it left a lot to the imagination. For the last 10%, it just lost itself a little for me. Like it went for something that was being built up over the entire film, but when it got to the end bit, I did go, okay, what does that mean? Hereditary is definitely a film to watch if you don't get scared at night, which I imagine is not a lot of people here. Then came Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. My review was very... Some people have said generous. Some people have definitely said generous, and to be honest, I haven't actually watched it again. I said in the review I would watch it again, and I never got around to seeing it a second time. It is coming out on DVD next week, I think. I have still got recollecting memories. That's not the right... But I stand by Jurassic World was a fun blockbuster. It was a Jurassic Park film I preferred over the previous installment, and it's made me, you know, slightly anticipated for the next one. But, you know, it'll be over, and then we can move on with our lives. Next up, Incredibles 2. Incredibles is one of my favourite childhood films. Like many probably here, and many friends I have, everyone remembers Incredibles with a high standard, and you know, it was just a really fun film for when we were kids. So the anticipation of a second one was crazy. Some people were really excited, and I can see why, and for me, Incredibles 2 was average. It was so average. For me, The Incredibles had already wrapped up its story in a video game, and the film for me was quite fantastic anyway, so I didn't need it in the next installment. But here we are, living in a world post-Incredibles 2 launch, and the film was average. You might be wondering why it's average, or why I'm saying it's average. I can't remember. I have forgotten the plot of this film. I literally do not remember what happens in this film. I know there's a bit with a train, and yeah. It was average. I don't remember what happens. I don't remember the villain. Oh wait, it's coming back to me. Oh, it's coming back to me. It was fun. I'm not gonna lie, I had the giggles when I was with my friend watching it, but it doesn't mean it was a fantastic film. At the end of the day, it was a film for kids, and I'm pretty sure it aimed at that demographic and nailed it on the head. Next was Ant-Man and the Wasp, the final surprising Marvel film of this year, which is strange, because now for the rest of the year, we do not have another Marvel film, which is strange, because there's always a Marvel film to bridge the gap between, like, in October or November. But no, for the rest of the year, there is no Marvel film, and it's really weird. We got them all out within the first half of the year. Again, was bog standard for me. I actually had a friend who went to go see it the other day, and he came back and said, "What do you mean that was average? That was really fun." And actually, I know what they mean. Ant-Man and the Wasp is a very contained story. The world is not going to end because of what's happening in it. It's got some villains, it's got some characters that only exist in this very small film, which is fine, and actually, those stories are the most memorable. He says that. It was so average. Ant-Man and the Wasp was just a very bog-standard Marvel film. For me, it hit the marks, and it hit the jokes and the action sequences, and it was fun. And I actually had more high hopes for this than the first one, because, you know, they could have learned for more comedy or what have you. But no, Ant-Man and the Wasp was just another generic Marvel film. It feels like we took 2 steps back, made an average film, they went, okay, that's fine. Go off into your little corner. And in fairness, Ant-Man and the Wasp had to follow up from Infinity War and Black Panther, so it did a pretty good job, but also, it's fine. You do not need to watch the entire film. There's no consequence, there's no literal reason why you have to watch it, because it will probably all get explained in Avengers 4 of why things have happened and what's led to that situation. So Ant-Man and the Wasp is actually probably one of those few Marvel films where you can skip it over and it will not affect your enjoyment of the cinema universe. I'm going to quickly speedrun these 3. It is The Spy Who Dumped Me, Mamma Mia 2, and Book Club. You might be wondering, Griff, you watched these films? I did watch these films because I'm Griff and I watched everything. At one point in the summer, there was 4 days consecutively where I went to the cinema every day. That is not a lie. It was actually, at one point, horrendous how much I went to the cinema. The Spy Who Dumped Me was a film that I was excited for just so I could see Kate McKinnon in a big blockbuster movie that isn't Ghostbusters. And it was fine. She actually had a lot of lines that I laughed at, and the humour was incredibly violent. Violent? I can't talk. I've had a cold. I'm sorry. The comedy was strange. It hit its marks. I laughed a little. You have to go with a very immature mind, and it was very bog-standard American action comedy, which is fine if you like that kind of thing. It wasn't particularly special, and to be honest, in some areas it forgot where it was standing, stood to the left a little, or stood to the right a little, and completely missed the mark, actually, at moments. Mamma Mia 2. I didn't need to see it. I wish I hadn't seen it. It wasn't amazing, fantastic, and actually I think it had less budget than the first one. If it had more, they did not put the right money into the right places. They actually just bought Cher to come onto the film. That was it. Apart from that, nothing incredibly special happened. It did actually add some of my favourite ABBA songs back into the films. So I actually enjoyed that for that one reason. But apart from that, No, it was fine. Why did you see book club, Griff? Because it was a wet Friday evening. I was sat with my family and we needed to watch something. I wish I had picked something else. Book club is an original screenplay that probably happened around the world, but it wasn't funny. It wasn't even a Nancy Meyers film. Or was it? I don't think it was, which is more upsetting. My favourite Nancy Meyers film was actually Father of the Bride, 1 and 2. So, yeah, that's the standard every Nancy Meyer film has to have. Apart from it's complicated. But no, it's Father of the Bride. Last 3, ladies and gentlemen. We're here. We've reached the last 3 of the year. Now, these 3 I have left specifically here because I enjoyed these for very different reasons, and I will now tell you what. Number 3, The Meg. I really enjoyed The Meg. The Meg was incredibly fun. I went in wanting to have a funny time, wanting it to be self-aware, and wanting it to be ridiculously crappy, and it was. And that was amazing! I can't lie, it doesn't mean that it's a fantastic film. It's one of the worst films I've seen this year. You know, just generally. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. I went in looking for a fun time, and it was really fun. It actually made more money at the opening box office than anybody predicted, which means it was a film that people were wanting to see. And it doesn't surprise me. It was a ridiculous film. It's not gonna mean that this is the Jaws of our time. It really does not. But people wanted to see a ridiculous shark movie about a massive shark eating people. That's exactly what it says. It does what it says on the tin, and that's why people are loving it. That's why I think it's going to become a slow cult classic, because it's crazy. Also, it didn't set up a sequel. That's not a spoiler, I'm just letting you know. The Meg doesn't set up a sequel, and that's beautiful, because you know what? That does not happen often these days. Number 2, Letter to All the Boys I've Ever Loved. This was a coming-of-age film that became a very quick cult classic on Netflix, and it's a Netflix original film, and I have only just seen it. I wish I had not waited so long. This isn't because I am still mentally a teenager even though I'm 20 and I actually have the mind of a 12-year-old white blonde girl, but it's just because the film has got heart and it's quite funny. It knows what it's aiming for, it knows where it's going, and for me, that's what did it. If you know what you're aiming at and where you're going with a film, and it's presented in a really beautiful way, there is nothing to really hate about it. It doesn't mean it's everyone's cup of tea. I loved it because I wanted to see a love story, and it was a love story I got. But that doesn't mean that someone... just because I loved Infinity War doesn't mean that someone who watched Infinity War is going to love this. I guarantee it's the opposite. But that doesn't mean that this film wasn't really good. I do highly recommend it if you want a casual viewing experience. It's quite a fun pastime film, something to watch over a lunchtime, and I don't think you'll regret it, because it's just a nice, easy watch with a really heartful and true story at its core. So, what hits the number 1 spot? What was the best film, in my opinion, of summer 2018? It was Mission Impossible Fallout. That film was amazing! It was a good spy film. When you think of spy films, you normally think of James Bond, and I highly agree with that. But that doesn't mean that that should be always the standard. I actually think Mission Impossible Fallout should now be the set standard for every spy film to come now. If you want a good action, serious movie about spy work, you know, in the fantasy mind of what we have as spies, I think Fallout is your standard now to reach at. Alec Baldwin is my favourite as the head of the MIF. Henry Cavill also was a standout performance in this. I think he was much better in this than he has been in anything I've seen him in before. And I'm glad they didn't make him shave his controversy off his face. Mission Impossible Fallout was my film of the summer, and for many reasons, come speak to me personally. I might do a separate video on it. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. What the hell? Anyway, there you go. That was summer 2018 in a video length. I don't know how long this is. This has gone on quite long. If this is a long video, I'm really sorry. But anyway, I'm glad to be back. It's been a while. I've forgotten what it's been like to be here. in my bedroom, apparently. My question is, what film was a standout for you this summer? Or what do you think was the worst film of the summer? If you have an opinion, let me know in the comments below, like a generic YouTuber I am. I will hopefully be back very soon with a review. I don't know what of. I don't know what I'm going to go see. Oh, wait, The Predator's out soon. And yeah, thanks for summer, and we'll see you soon. So yeah, bye. Just before you go, I've gone back to live streaming on Twitch. I'm just doing some games. I'm casually streaming Jurassic World or The Sims or anything, absolutely anything, but I'm back to live streaming, so if you want to go see me, click there, and yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and now I'm gone. Okay, continue, Untitled.